Hello, 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 everybody. You are listening to your wifey's favorite fighting game podcast, FGC Cast. I am the expired radio host of yesteryear, the Purple Sharpie, and I'm here as always with my Video Killed the Radio Star co-host, Yohosie. How are you doing today, Don?
I'm doing great. Video Killed the Radio Star, and I'm here to kill people in DNF Duel.
Yeah.
And also with my smooth voiceover as I talk through this. How's it going, Sharpie?
You know,
doing chilling?
It's going really well. I've been still very, very busy with my wedding matchup. I know I keep talking about it. I'm going to continue talking about it, but at the point of us recording this podcast, which is July 16th, my wedding is approximately 1 month away, so that's pretty exciting. How's life for you, Don?
Well, I just finished folding a load of laundry, which is probably the highlight of my week.
Yes.
It is a Sunday, so it's not really a big barrier to entry. But no, I've been good. I've just been chilling. I've just been doing some dumb crap around the house. Nothing crazy. It's been chill.
Speaking of chill and low barriers of entry, earlier this past month, we had an opportunity, myself and a few other individuals, to actually participate inside of the Kunoichi Street Fighter 6 debut tournament. As everybody probably is aware of, as we've obviously made very, very painfully aware of, if you don't know who Kunoichi is, they are a fighting game esports organization that actually focuses on creating equitable opportunities for marginalized individuals, especially inside of the fighting game scene. And one of the things that they've really been focused on doing is making sure that people are able to get into fighting games, especially if they happen to be queer or a person of color inside the fighting game community. They create online invitational tournaments where people can go ahead and enter with very, very low stress, very low barrier of entry. And I actually happened to participate in it. This happened earlier this month, July 8th. There was a very, very large cast of individuals, very, very large participant listing here. And we actually had two commentators, one of which was Marine, who's very well known as I have the Street Fighter 5 scene. And I think even a little bit as I have the 4 scene. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Don.
I actually don't know about 4, but I do know that Marine is really well known in 5.
Yeah, she's very well known in 5. I think she was on EXO Academy. She's commentated the game. She plays the game quite a bit. And we also have HM Athena, who is also someone that I personally know. I played League of Legends with her, but she has also been inside the fighting game scene for a while, and she had an opportunity to commentate this event, which I thought was super awesome. Top 8 was very, 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 very contested. And we had quite a few individuals show up and show out for this tournament, but ultimately it went out to these 8 contenders, the best of the best, as you might say. Now, I'm interested really quickly. I know last time we spoke, Don, you didn't have the best experience with Street Fighter 6. Has anything like that changed? Do you think an invitational tournament like this may possibly open some opportunities for you in Street Fighter 6's lifespan?
No. No, it won't. Thanks for asking. No, I like Kunoichi is I really like the work they do. I worked with them in the past on Strive. I think that they do great things for women and queer and non-binary and marginalized, people of all colors, but I don't really want to play 6 in this type of environment, in any type of environment, even the most accepting one, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's kind of like someone said, hey, Dawn, you're gay. You get free chocolate cake. And then I'm like, but I'm allergic to chocolate. Like, that's kind of what this feels like to me. Yeah. So, I'm excited that I think that women-only tournaments and queer and not, people of color tournaments are really important. I think that they're great to open up avenues for people that normally wouldn't really have the comfort level to enter an open bracket, because like in the FGC anyone can enter a bracket, right? So I think the only thing that creates a barrier to entry is how accepted you feel and how much you want to grind, and I think Kunoichi does a good job breaking down that barrier, right, and literally making it like this is a safe space to compete.
Oh, very yes, very, very yes, yeah.
And then, one name on there that I haven't seen in a hot minute is Super Yan.
Yes.
I have not seen Super Yan in a hot minute. I think I don't want to say she's skipped 5, but she wasn't really around much in 5. So Good to see her playing, I think it was Honda, which, you know, is a charge character, just like Balrog. So good for her. Glad she's having a good time. I'm glad that y'all had a good time.
I'm so happy that I got to see so many very, very talented femme and non-binary individuals enter the tournament. And I'm even happier that we had people entering the tournament that, like, you know, I'm an anime fighter. You know, we've talked about this before. And I have been playing Street Fighter 6. I think I've already made my thoughts on Street Fighter 6 very, very clear. They're very similar to yours. It's not that I dislike the game's mechanics or anything. That game is just not for me, and I think you've been also very, very open about that as well. You know, some games are just not for people, and this game is not for me. I have been streaming it, I have been playing it, especially on my TikTok streams, which are live every single day at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on TikTok. But I will say that Lily is fun. I'm learning how to do 360s against all odds.
You're playing a grappler? My girl, you're playing a grappler. Welcome to grappler. Welcome to grappler life. So now, instead of inventing okazemi and shimmies, you can just flip coins.
I have been actively 360ing people and practicing my 360s against Persia. And Persia was also one of the people inside the tournament. And I also want to shout out Persia for commentating Street Fighter 6, I believe, at CEO, where she was commentating along with Saint Cola. And she was given accolades by several people inside the community, very, very big Street Fighter veterans, most notably Hollywood Rob TV on Twitter, who stated that that was actually their favorite pairing on commentary that entire weekend. So
yeah, Persia's a very good commentator. I like Persia a lot. She's awesome.
Really hope she gets an opportunity to commentate Street Fighter at EVO this year, which brings us into our very next topic, obviously, of Evolution. I know, everybody.
2023. That's right.
You guys weren't expecting us to talk about the biggest fighting game event in the world, I'm sure, on this podcast. But guess what? We are Suck It Haters. EVO 2023 is scheduled for about a month now, a little bit less out than a month, right? And
I think it's about, it's like 2 weeks away, right?
Yeah, it's like 2.5. So
I
almost
think it's like
a month.
2.5 weeks away. Yeah. It's crazy soon.
It's very, very close. But most notably, one of the things I actually want to talk about is that the actual numbers went live for it. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it onto us really quickly because, Don, if there's one thing I want to get here, it's your thoughts on these numbers. Actually, you're covering a bit of the screen, so I'm just going to give our viewers, especially listening to us on either, on either YouTube or on Spotify, which now has video, they'll actually be able to see these numbers. Street Fighter has 7,061 entrants. Last cast, we talked about how many people were entering inside Street Fighter 6. It's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
I'll average the numbers here. We got about 7K for 6, 2.5K for Strive, 1.5K for Tekken, 1.4K for Marvel, which is crazy, 800 for Dragon Ball. Street Fighter or King of Fighters 15 with the devil's number here, 666. Melty Blood with 550 and Mortal Kombat 11 with 450. Like, let's start with 6, right? Like, okay, the numbers are confirmed. 7,000. You have to run 7,000 people through a bracket in 2 days. I am praying for EVO staff. If you have not volunteered, I highly recommend volunteering if you want to. Help run those through, but like, hey, Street Fighter 6, that is a lot of people. No surprise. I mean, it's like a game that's taken the FGC by storm, like very expectedly. It's definitely not my game, but I'm glad that people like it enough to enter, you know?
Oh, for sure. One of the things I actually wanted to go ahead and also show off on stream here was, I believe we have just a quick little... Where is it? I have it here. I prepped this.
Show me, Sharpie. Show me the goods.
So there was some really cool news about Crunchyroll actually sponsoring EVO 2023 this year. And inside of an exclusive article posted to evo.gg, which I highly recommend all of our podcast listeners and viewers take an opportunity to check out themselves, they actually announced that there are going to be exclusive events and exclusive merchandising opportunities for both spectators and participants alike to get while at EVO. One of the things that I was really interested in was they happen to have a photo booth where you can actually take some really awesome candid photos with some of your favorite animated people inside of there. I think they specifically mentioned Spy X Family inside of here, and I apologize if I'm incorrect. I'm reading off of
no, they mentioned Spy X Family. Yeah. I'm gonna take a photo with I forget their names, but they're cool. I like that anime. It's like one of the few animes I watched in my life, and I'm like, this is good.
It's so cute. It's so cute. Freaking cute. But
it's cute, and it's one of the few animes that isn't super serious, and I enjoy that.
No, I really think that this integration is so good for the future of EVO because, and we've talked about this before, like Combo Breaker is like what I think most people have in their heart of hearts. Like when you talk to a competitor, you ask someone what their favorite tournament is, the answer is usually Combo Breaker. When you talk to someone about what their favorite tournament experience is in general, that doesn't even know fighting games, they say EVO because it's a convention. It's an opportunity for people who are fighting game enthusiasts and competitors to like kind of meet up and mix. And I think EVO's sponsorship and collaboration opportunity with Crunchyroll here really just solidifies their future as one of those events that's like a must go for anyone who's interested inside of fighting games now. And Don, I believe you said you're actually going as well?
Yeah, I'll be at EVO. I'm entering Strive. I don't expect to do super great, but more importantly, I as a fighting game player, I feel obligated to go to EVO, right? Like, I'll show up at this booth. I'll take a photo with the family, the Spy X family, and hang out with them. My goal is to just get my Chipotle burrito and bounce, honestly, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like Chipotle.
Yeah. No,
I kind of dig it, and I love free food because I'm a cheap son of a gun.
Bro, I really appreciate the fighting game community's appreciation to food because I just want to say and put it out there, some of those Chipotle tokens that people got from Combo Breaker, and some of these Chipotle opportunities that people are going to get at EVO. Make me remember about how when I first started competing in like Super Smash Bros. Melee, the struggle of just not having food after a tournament, dude.
For sure.
That is such a real struggle. Like,
I remember getting second at a tournament and being like, well, in order to pay the electric bill, I guess I gotta pawn my camera because I didn't win. Like, I've been there. I'm like, damn, I only won $40. Like, this sucks. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, it's
so yeah, I know the feeling. Dude. I know the feeling really well. So I'm glad that people are getting fed. Like, you're in Vegas, right? So like, if you can make it to Vegas, you got some money probably, but it's nice to get some food, for beating people up.
For sure.
And you know what? If you think there's no way I'm making out a bracket, with 7,000 people, like 6,000 of them got to be garbage. Like, just go beat them up.
For
you'll
sure.
be fine.
For sure. We here at Fighting Game Cast condone violence inside of the game, especially at EVO. If you have 100%. Been practicing a teabag combo and you've been looking for a stage to put it out on, do it at EVO. And then tag us, #FGCcast.
For sure. And also, like, if you're like, oh man, I'm too garbage for EVO. Well, one, I hope you already signed up because registration's closed.
It is closed.
And number two, something in the fighting game scene that I think people don't realize is like people watch Daigo and people watch like Tokido and people watch Sonic Fox and be like, wow, like these are my captions just said Tokidos like instead of Tokido. That's actually really funny. But no, like in fighting games, you are trying to be the least garbage.
Yes.
And everyone is slightly garbage. So if you think I'm too garbage to play this game, you're not. We're all trash.
Yeah.
Just, be the least trash out of all of us.
Yeah, be better trash than everybody else. You know, like I always tell people, I play Skullgirls because I'm not trash enough to play Toho. Anyway, as always, make sure that if you are attending the event, you have a little bit of free extra time on your hands. Do go ahead and just volunteer. If you go over to evo.gg, you can go ahead and sign up to volunteer and run some brackets. Both me and Don actively condone assisting and volunteering when you can. They do need help. They have really, really, really big numbers this year in case this graphic was not obvious enough. But if you got some free time, help out the FGC by running some brackets.
Yeah, I think you also get some. I think you get free entry, you get paid, and you get food.
Yeah,
so it's worth it. If you're trying to do EVO on a budget, you should probably volunteer for like 3 or 4 brackets. It's worth it.
It really is. It's a really good opportunity. Every single year I've been at EVO, with the exception of last year, I ran brackets because I literally could not. They had me commentating like every single day with the exception of Sunday. I was unable to run brackets.
Yeah, I usually run brackets for 956 Productions.
Yeah.
That is also at EVO as like the side game, like nonsense room in air quotes because it's a convention, it's a big open space. But if you're commentating, like running brackets at the same time will actually wear you out. Like commentating to me is like 3 times harder than brackets. I'm gonna be real. So no shame at all for not running brackets that year. I had to have people take over my bracket running because I'm like, listen, I'm dead. Like I can't do this anymore. Like pass. Like someone. Like, take my clipboard, take it. I'm dying, take it.
That's a very real quote from someone running a bracket, by the way.
Yeah, it's like you know how I don't know if you watched The Last of Us, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but they use a clipboard as like it's kind of shaped like a clipboard's shaped like a gravestone, right? And they don't do this, but in my head I'm like, yeah, you could lay on the ground and put your bracket above your head so it's like a tombstone, and then someone could come and rob your grave and take your bracket for you.
Dude, that would actually be pretty godlike. Speaking of brackets and community run events, we especially already talked about Kunoichi and how that's a community run incentive by someone inside the community. I know that you actually know this very next presenter who is named Tong, otherwise known as Tampa Never Sleeps, but I believe he's running a specific event. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about it, Don?
Yeah, I don't think there's much to say at the moment, but he's starting a thing called Tennessee Never Sleeps, which is like a regional in Tennessee. I think Kumite in Tennessee is no longer being run, so I imagine this is kind of the spiritual replacement. Every little, I don't want to call it tri-state area, but every area needs a regional, right? Yeah. And this is coming to Tennessee and all the surrounding states, which I definitely know because I'm a star geography student. So all those states, I don't even need to name them because you all know at home, can drive to Tennessee for this $10,000 regional, which is honestly for a regional kind of crazy.
Oh no, that's a ridiculous amount of money for a regional. And as we've talked about Tong before inside of this podcast, he's an awesome member of the community. He's actually responsible for Marvel at EVO. I believe he's running and commentating for, and Tampa Never Sleeps is also responsible for the production at a lot of the Marvel and EVO stage, and obviously they'll be responsible for the production here at the Tennessee Never Sleeps event. So it's really nice to see contenders like this inside of here. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just give us the thirds of it really quickly because I want to go ahead and shout out some of these game pop bonuses. It may be a little bit difficult to see, but that I believe is a $2,000
that's pop bonus.
Oh my God, I lied. That's $5,000 bonus there for Street Fighter, 1.5 thousand for Tekken 7, 1.5 thousand for for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 1,000 for Guilty Gear, $500,000 for MVC 3, and another $500,000 for Dragon Ball Fighters, which is that's crazy obtuse amounts of money, Don.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's like you could fly out there for Marvel and win and make a profit, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Like flying out for Marvel, winning in like 2023, like 10 years after the game came out. That's wild. $5,000 for Street Fighter 6, huh?
I happen to know that bus tickets from Virginia to Tennessee start at about $5 from the Megabus. And I also happen to know that this is just not personally me ever recommending Megabus because it's a horror story and a half. But if you happen to have a little bit of extra money right now, you want to get a piece of that pie for really, really cheap. You live on the East Coast, you can probably get a Megabus ticket for like sub $50 right now. And just go on over.
If if you're listening to this and you go, I could really use $5,000, but I really want to get better at Street Fighter 6. Don't get better at Street Fighter 6. Play a better fighting game. That's what I think. Play a fighting game that rewards your time with fun and enjoyment and not blocking JP mix.
Go off, Don. I support this message.
Let me spit. Okay? I think people that play Street Fighter 6 are boring. I think that game's boring. I think that the goal of fighting games is to imagine a line graph, right? And it said buttons per minute. and you say, I want to press the game that presses the least amount of buttons possible, and you say, I want to play that game, you're lame and boring. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk it. You should play an anime game that forces you to input a 47 input Kara cancel sequence to hit a one frame link, and then you microdash IED cancel that link, and then you do a jump in like JC J2C, and then you land like that shit's cool. You know, in Street Fighter you press light punch and then you press the special move button because you play modern.
I just pressed DI, and I will say the reason I'm not a big fan of Street Fighter 6 is because my inputs are not clean. Because in Skullgirls, you have to mash that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And inside of even Strive, you really gotta mash it, you know? No.
I feel like I want to be like the Hacker Man gif. I want to type on a keyboard as fast as possible, and I want my character to do like a backflip.
Yo, I feel that.
In Street Fighter 6, I feel like it's just you just like pull a big lever. It's like a casino game. Like you play, ding ding ding. Like congratulations, you won. I don't know. I feel like this is not cool. It's not
feel
cool.
like in Street Fighter 6 sometimes my inputs are like have you seen Game of Thrones, Don?
No, not really.
Okay, inside of Game of Thrones, it's about these feudal families, right? Inside of like old-timey England setting, right? And there's this House of Starks, right? And the story kind of takes place around them. And it's talking about them getting ready for like, you know, securing power and the story of these kids and like the bastard son reclaiming power, blah, blah, blah. That's just the basis of it without any spoilers, right? Now, they have a saying inside of there that winter is coming, which is the idea that like they need to prepare for the incoming doom and everything that happens there. I feel like basically when I play Street Fighter 6, it's very much so like the idea of like all these people coming and sieging my castle, like except their inputs. So I just put all these inputs in and like whichever ones get into the castle, you know?
Okay.
It's very much so like you have to defend the castle. Speaking of defending the castle, Defend the North is a tournament that actually occurred literally right freaking now. We're going to go ahead and talk about some of these tournament results that are currently going on. We're going to start with Street Fighter 6, which is actively, as we record this commentary and this podcast, going on right now. There is a $5,000 guaranteed prize pool from Defend the North. And as soon as I said that, for whatever reason, it didn't update. Okay, so it looks like as of right now, they're showing that Kaba actually won the tournament. It's showing projected. My bad. It's showing as projected. My bad.
It's showing projected. Right now, I believe Meta RD is in grand finals, and Kaba and Space Boy are waiting in losers finals. I actually have the stream up on the side. I will validate as soon as the names populate.
Perfect.
We see Guile and Luke at the moment. I know you can't see this at home, but they're never going to update the names. Okay. Space Boy and Kaba. So they're playing losers finals.
Okay,
so by the end of this podcast, we will know who won. Probably.
Yes, we will. And it'll be really exciting. I don't think Minna is a super surprise to a lot of people watching at home. I mentioned him as the crowd favorite and the people's champ the very last time. Kaba is also a Dominican player who is also sponsored, I believe, on the same team as Minna RD, or am I crazy? I think they're actually on different teams now. I think that's true. No, they are. They're both on Bandits. Yeah. So that's really nice. Congratulations to Pred, who secured a spot there inside of, it looks like 5th. No Need to Talk secured a place inside of 4th. And right now, 3rd place is currently being duked out in losers finals. But it does look like guaranteed 1st or 2nd is going to be Minna RD. And tied for 7th, we have Taiga, as well as Joe Umerogan. Which is that a Street Fighter reference? Is that a Street Fighter reference?
I think that's Joe Rogan, but it's like an Ume Shoryu.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I was like, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, dude.
Yeah, well, congratulations to all of top 8. We'll see who wins.
Of course.
I hope you're proud that you won this boring ass game. At Defend the North. It's very difficult. Congratulations
on defending the North. I do want to say Taiga is actually from, I believe, New York. So Defend the North is centered around like giving New York players a lot of visibility. Taiga performed very, very well at East Coast and large-scale regionals and Street Fighter V. So it's really awesome to see them placing top 8 at an event like this, especially with a large international audience. Legendary Pred, I believe, is also a New York local. So
yeah, Legendary Pred is definitely is Omega New York.
Yeah, and you know that because you competed in Dragon Ball with them. So it's nice to see this. Let's move on over to Mortal Kombat 8, which is actually finished. In first place, we have Gur, which I don't think there's any surprise. They also got first place at CEO, so congratulations to him. Second place is Ghost. Third place is Cosner. Fourth place is Jen Fox. Tied for fifth, we have Storm Kun, as well as Dale Jr. And tied for seventh, we have him, Willie, and Lonely Fans, which I assume could not afford the $20 OnlyFans subscription. But
hey, you know, now you can. You got 8th place in Mortal Kombat 11.
Which
you got probably $30
they had a pot bonus for that. Yeah, I don't think they had a pot for that. They may have. I didn't do too much research into that, unfortunately, just because I was wedding planning. But congratulations to everybody there in top 8. Obviously, that's really promising. I believe they actually had a total amount of entrants. I think it was. I'm looking right now at the bracket, and they had. Oh, they only have the bracket here for top 8. That's interesting.
That's okay.
Well, anyway, they had a lot of people show up inside of here. And congratulations to everybody there. I don't know why they only have a bracket for top 8. There must have been something weird on the production side. The secondary, or the third event that we will be showcasing here that has actually gone ahead and finished at Defend the North is a very, very big bracket.
Is it Strive?
It is actually Melty Blood. And the reason I'm going to show off Melty Blood is because you saw their numbers. Melty Blood is showing out. Melty Blood, they're doing really well.
Melty Blood got an EVO spot too, right? You know?
Yeah, they do.
They're doing really good. Melty Blood's glowing up.
This is going to be one of their very last events before EVO, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they perform here. Obviously, we can't show the full bracket because it's not completely pulling up here, but aside of first place is Safe. Inside of second place is Realina. Third place is Center_Blue. Fourth place is Chunky Monkey. Tied for fifth is Game Psycho and Tree Sentinel. Tied for seventh by way of DQ is P-Town Hero and Amanto, who actually was defeated by Center_Blue. So congratulations to the entirety of Melty Blood top 8. And now that I actually look at it, it looks like it was actually a bit of a smaller bracket. They actually ran the event, it looks like, on PC. And I believe we talked about this.
Like only 13 people entered Melty Blood, and so good stuff to top 8. If you got bottom 5, yikes.
Grats.
No, it happens. It happens.
It definitely does. And
it definitely happens.
I don't know if EVO's going to be on PC, though. Do you know?
EVO's not going to be on PC, no.
Yeah,
no, there's no PC brackets at EVO. I mean, it's sponsored by Sony.
Yeah, so that may have been a reason why we didn't have like a super huge showing of players, especially with EVO being this close. Nobody wants to enter a PC tournament.
No. Yeah, for those who don't know, PC and console have different
completely different input timings.
Yeah, so like when you play on PC, usually it's about 2 frames faster. Like and it matters so much that like in the Exert days, a little bit of a tangent, but so Japanese players, Japanese arcade cabinets had actually 1 additional frame of delay.
Oh wow!
Compared to PS4, but they played on cabs back then, right? I mean, they still do, but for Exert specifically, they played exclusively on cabs like Mikado and all those arcades, and so they had sheets of paper at Exert at EVO that said, please check the input delay to confirm like that the input delay is set properly, because they purposely added a frame of input delay on PS4 in the game settings. To get parity, to get parity, even though it's a frame nerf, which a frame is a huge deal in fighting games.
It's a very, very big deal. Like, it's the difference between, the White Walkers coming into my castle or me actively rage quitting on Persia because I lost 130 times in a row.
There you go.
Because JP is bullshit. JP is bullshit.
All you need to do to get better at fighting games is find ways to remove frames. It's whoever has the least amount of frames wins every time. Clearly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's DSP standard too, right?
Yeah.
That's how we won EVO that one time. On that broken fucking patch, dude.
You said to remove a frame and I took off my glasses. and I lost.
I don't know why I beat Valle. I'm in top 8 for this game. Anyway, moving on. Congratulations to anybody who got top 8 inside of Melty Blood type Lumina at Defend the North. We hope, obviously, to see representation from this top 8 at EVO, but like Don so succinctly said, there is a very low chance of obviously the same top 8 occurring. If it does occur, if we do see someone here inside of this top 8 and they also get anywhere in top 32 at EVO, that would surprise me, because that means that they are a very adaptable player that is able to practice on multiple consoles, which is awesome. You know, really good fundamentals.
Yeah, they're trying to make that bank. And you know what? I respect that.
Yo, you gotta
show
grind.
up and make that money.
You gotta grind.
You listen, 13 people, you get all of their money.
Yeah.
You get, how much money is that? You get $60 for winning? I'll take $60.
Me too, dude.
You could use that to buy another copy of Melty Blood type Lumina.
Yeah, you could even use that to go ahead and... I didn't have anything. I'm sorry, I have no segue.
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I got really excited over a possible segue opportunity, and I'm sorry, listeners, and Don, for
That's all right.
that
Why
false
don't
segue.
we transition like, you know... We'll just do it old school
Let's
style.
just go into a different timeline.
What's next on the docket?
Yeah,
What's next
you know
on the
what?
docket?
Let's just go to another timeline, another multiple universe, if you were, and go to Multiverse's top 8 here. We didn't cover it on the very last podcast, but Multiverses is unfortunately no longer available. The game is no longer accessible inside of the PlayStation Store. On the Xbox Store, you cannot download it any longer on Steam. They have officially closed the beta, but this is the very last official tournament that will be holding Multiverses for PC in any official capacity. Defend the North had a fantastic showing for Multiverses. There are very, very well-known players inside this bracket. The first of which I want to go ahead and shout out, who got first, is actually K7 Show Off. I had an opportunity of actually watching this player perform, not necessarily at this bracket because I've been incredibly busy this weekend, but they are a very, very talented player. They're well-known inside the Multiverses competitive community. And I believe they were running singles for this tournament. Second place is Ascend.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm not familiar with Ascend, but third place was Twilight, and in fourth place, legendary Pred, who competed inside of Street Fighter as well. So that's crazy to me that Pred got so many top 8s at Defend the North. He was just collecting brackets.
I bet you he won Dragon Ball too.
I'm actually checking right now.
No, let's check.
I'm trying to see what events he entered in, because Dragon Ball, he entered Dragon Ball. He actually got second in Dragon Ball.
Oh wait, who beat Pred?
I'm checking right now.
I'm looking also.
It looks like it was Axice.
Oh, Axice is sick. All right, cool. Yeah, that's fair. Good shit, Axice.
Very, very good bracket, actually. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't highlight it, which, you know what? Actually, let's just go ahead and highlight it.
Yeah,
really
let's
quickly.
just look at it.
But
who we got in
congratulations
Dragon
again
Ball?
to I want to shout out the Multiverses players first. I want to give them their
Okay,
showcase.
okay,
I don't want to be like,
all
oh
right.
yeah, by the way, Multiverses, fuck you, Dragon Ball. Which is what I almost just did. But shout outs to tied for 5th was J. George M and Laundry Guy. I'm not going to announce 7th place because they were both DQs, unfortunately, as they didn't show up. But congratulations to everybody who got top 5. It was a very, very small bracket, mostly just because Multiverses is no longer widely available online, and people do have to play exclusively offline in order to do it. So we are going to see a lot of Parsec tournaments coming up. But congratulations to K7 for winning the final offline official Multiverses tournament. Good stuff for that. Let's go into Dragon Ball. You're right. Let's go ahead and shout out Dragon Ball.
I don't think we need to do a deep dive. Let's dip our toes in.
This is a really big bracket, Dot. This is a really big bracket. This bracket, I'm pulling it up right now. Pull up bracket. Oop. Did I copy the wrong bracket? I did. Okay, let me just go ahead and refresh it real quick. It's not showing up for some reason.
But yeah, as that's loading, I'll run through kind of the top 8 real quick. Yeah. So Axice won in a reset, actually. Yeah. So Axice got beaten by Legendary Pred in winners finals, got sent to losers where he beat Jay Fong, who then went to grand finals and then ran a 3-1 over Legendary Pred and then a 3-0. So good stuff to Axice. Really talented player. Been a fan for a hot minute since season 1, so has been playing for a while. And yeah.
This is a crazy big bracket. First place, obviously Axice. Second place, Legendary Pred. Third place, Jay Fong. Fourth place, Alan Fly. Fifth place, tied for 5th, Tree Man and Calamari. Tied for 7th, Dragon God and Amanto.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's good stuff.
Really, really good. Pred definitely
really good stuff.
defended New York here. Really good showing by all players. And Don, I just have to ask, because, we haven't talked about it very much recently, but what are your current thoughts on the Dragon Ball meta right now?
They kind of went crazy with it in a way that I appreciate, because it kind of turned it from like, it's Super Smash Brothers now. I'm gonna be real. It's Super Smash Brothers. Like and I don't mean that in a, I kind of mean that in a negative way. Okay. It's very like, you have to find now the competitiveness in a non-competitive game, is what I mean.
I see.
And Smash Brothers Ultimate is a fun game, and I think that if you want to be competitive, you can, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the joy of Smash Brothers. With Dragon Ball, they turned up like everything up to like a 15 out of 10. And so now it's so hyper that you have to kind of find the competitiveness in the fun. Like they did a lot of things that were total nonsense. Like that, to say a bad word, that game's a lot of bullshit right now. And that doesn't mean it can't be fun, but it's like somehow like, it's like Marvel level of like BS, and in a way that doesn't feel like Marvel. I think that the game is better at that than it was in season 4 early, where it was like the Android 21 show, the Lab Coat show.
Yeah. I don't feel like Lab Coat being the meta was very fun to watch or play. I didn't play it at the time, but it was not fun at all for me to watch, and I like Lab Coat, Yeah,
like I'd rather the game be extreme and enjoyable than extreme and unenjoyable. Like they turned it from like 13 to 15, and I said, oh, okay, this is still way too, like the power level in this game is still ridiculous, and it really shouldn't be this high. But at least it's so high now that it's kind of fun. It's kind of wrapped around. It's horseshoe theoried its way back, right?
I get that. I super understand.
Kind of like Smash Ultimate, right? Like Smash Ultimate competitively, like it's not balanced really. Like
I kind of disagree with that a little bit. Yeah, just very, very slightly. I will preface this obviously just by saying I don't play Super Smash Brothers competitively anymore. The very last game I played competitively was Melee and Project Melee. But I will say, from what I know about Ultimate, a lot of people complain that the game is not balanced because there's a huge roster of characters that aren't viable. But I have seen character specialists take their character and just break the game with it. I think it's very easy from an outside perspective to think that the game is not balanced at all because people are all complaining about nerfs. And objectively, I will argue that that's mostly because the fan base is younger and they've grown up inside of an era where things can just be patched out. But speaking to competitive players and professional players that are a little bit older, the thing I have always taken away from conversations regarding Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is that if you have good fundamentals, if you have a good understanding of how to read people, there is a very solid, like, 15 characters that you can use out of their roster of, like, I think it's like 30 or something, and you can succeed very well. But it's really just about understanding your playstyle and understanding what complements that the best, rather than just like using any character that you happen to like, Like I think Smash suffers from the clone aspect more of, we're just going to put IPs inside of it, as opposed to like what I would consider the Skullgirls effect of, we're going to have very, very unique characters that have a very unique moveset. And I think Dragon Ball has the same thing. So in that sense, I understand it, but I will say that like I don't think it has a large scale issue at the competitive level, because people do just play top tiers inside of that game and they just have fun with it. And I don't think we've seen anybody really break the game in a way that's like unfair. I just do want to defend the platform fighter here, because I've spoken with competitive players and analyzers, and they have disagreeing thoughts on that.
Yeah. See, you saying all that, and I just hear that sounds super unbalanced.
Yeah, no, and I know that's what you're going to hear, and I think it's fair. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
He told me 15 out of 30, and I'm like, well, first of all, there's like 100 characters in Smash.
Coming from a Smash player, I know you hear that ratio and you think that's crazy, but you also have to remember, inside of like Melee, only like 5 characters were viable out of their roster of like 25 or 20. So it's like that's a significantly better balance than in any other game,
Right.
So
yeah, but like, how do I put this? Same with Dragon Ball.
It's still very. I get it.
I would say like 50% of the characters are viable, and like 50% aren't, and like they kind of turned maybe more than that, maybe like 70. I think in some ways Dragon Ball is a little. I mean, it's definitely more balanced than Ultimate, but Like I'm sorry, that just all sounded really wild to me. Like
I know.
hearing like,
I know.
yeah, like 15 characters are okay, and I'm like, what do you mean? There's like 120. There's
You
like
have to understand, like you have to understand the whole history of Smash when you dissect Ultimate, really. And what's crazy is I don't even feel like I'm officially like licensed enough to speak about Smash at that level, and I'm still just like, so you know.
Of course.
But because like I know that the game is really popular, so I know that like when you say, oh yeah, that game's super unbalanced, people immediately think, oh, there's only like 3 playable characters, and then platformers are like, that's nothing. But if there's like 10, then they feel like they have an opportunity, you know. And that's the only reason I say that.
It sounds like you told me like, hey, listen, 1% of the top people owning 50% of the wealth is crazy. But what if I told you
coming from the traditional
FGC,
I know how fucking insane that sounds. I really do.
We fixed it, and now 4% of the top Americans own 50% of the wealth. It's good now, actually. Like,
I'm not here to say by traditional fighting game standards it makes sense. I'm here to say by platforming standards it makes sense. If you play a game like Brawlhalla or Icons, everybody in those characters is so ridiculously unbalanced. There actually is like only 5 or 6 you can play competitively.
Sure.
So it's like,
I'll take that.
That's the only reason I say that, is because it's very important to let people know you have options from the top tiers you want to pick, and the option is basically a real roster worth of options, you know?
Yeah, and I guess too, like FGC has kind of, people don't know what a bad character is anymore.
No.
I feel like you know, 10, 15 years ago, they didn't have balanced teams. They didn't have squads of people dedicated to figure out how to balance a game. As someone whose job it is to balance a game, like the amount of work that goes into ensuring that, you know, people fulfill their fight fantasies and can have like a balanced fun time regardless of who they play, that didn't exist.
No,
like
it didn't.
you got BlazBlue CT Tager fighting New 13, you know, like that's what you got. You like, people don't know what bad characters are nowadays, so maybe it was wrong of me to say that
no, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, and I think it's valid. I did just want to give direction, especially since I know like you don't play platform fighters like that, and I did. I just felt like I had a responsibility to make sure that you had some context, and I totally respect your point, and I think you're still correct for having that viewpoint, especially from the traditional fighting game community. I just want to make sure that, like, because someone's going to listen, they're gonna be like, platform fighting games and this and that, and I want people to understand, like, yeah, platform fighting games were not made with every single character being viable, like games like Skullgirls is, or games like, I would even say Third Strike is, which is what the fighting game community expects, you know?
Yeah, and like when I say that Dragon Ball Now is about finding the fun in a crazy game, I think that Ultimate is very much the same way. And to be fair, I love Melee. Like, I think Melee is a really fun game.
Melee is godlike, dude.
I cut my teeth on Melee.
Melee is probably, I still believe that Project Melee had the potential to bring so many different communities together. And it really does sadden me that Nintendo stopped that from really blowing up back immediately after EVO. Don, you know, I know your previous employer was Twitter. You know, we don't talk about your previous employer on this podcast just out of respect to you. But I understand that there is something that you would like to actually talk about very, very briefly. And that's actually going to be Threads, the newest application by Meta.
Oh my God. Sorry, I had to sink down in my chair real quick to get to the emotional level that Threads gets me to. So if you've been living under a rock and you only care about fighting games, chances are you haven't heard of Threads. But if you are in the world at all, you have. Threads is an app made by Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's own, Meta's own, that is designed to compete with Twitter. I'm gonna be real with you. I can't talk too much about Twitter because I used to work there. But I can say that Threads is a garbage platform that sucks. And if you hate yourself and you want to consume the worst content ever made, go to Threads. So I joined Threads. It's a website where you can post thoughts and images, much like Twitter. Except instead of the fighting game community and funny people being on there, it's just influencers posting so because Threads is like the same type of ecosystem as Instagram. It's all garbage because Instagram models don't know how to be good posters.
No,
is
they
what I'm
don't.
gonna say. I don't think they're depressed enough. So, you know, it's just a bunch of hot garbage, and I'm trying to post on there, and it's just like, it just feeds you garbage content, and like no one from the FGC is on there, and the ones that are. So I'm subscribed to like 200 people from the FGC.
Okay.
And I refresh the app, and no one is there. Like literally like 2 people post.
I've heard a lot
Like-
of complaints about
Yeah.
Threads in general. Like I've heard people not getting recommendations to follow. I've heard of
No.
people not having like the prime example you gave of all of those threads, I guess. You provided those screenshots, so thank you so much to Yohosie for venturing onto the application and unfortunately taking these screenshots and giving them to us. But like you provided as well the B-roll footage, and it's a little bit grayed out in the background. But one of the things I noticed when I was going through it was that like next to none of them were fighting game people. And I know you follow
No.
fighting game people on Instagram and on Threads.
Fighting game people are still on Twitter. So
Yeah.
if you are a fighting game aficionado, and you only care about fighting games, right now we are all still on Twitter, and none of us are on Meta.
Thank God, by the way. Oh, I just want to say for the record, I refuse to support any application that Meta creates exclusively. Like, I just don't trust their numbers. They're still under congressional investigation for for advertising and a possible like in what is it monopoly, I believe is what they're still
something
under.
like that.
They were actually found guilty, I believe, of inflating their numbers, just like Google's under congressional investigation right now for their advertising and everything. So I don't mess with any new applications that the Zuck comes out with just because I don't trust them. I used to trust Twitter.
I personally believe. Yeah, I personally believe that I trust Twitter's numbers right now. So, you know, if you want really validated view count information, Twitter.com is the place to be.
Definitely the place to be. But, you
100%.
know, in other news, we have places to be, Don, and that has been this episode of FGC Cast, hosted by the Purple Sharpie and Yohosie. Now, Don, as I ask you at the end of every single stream, do you have any final closing thoughts before we go ahead and end up this episode of FGC Cast?
Listen, okay, if you are in bracket and you're nervous and you're losing, I want you to remember that it's okay to lose.
Oh, that was godlike.
Okay, it's
That was
okay to
godlike.
lose.
Yo, put that on a coffee mug, dude.
It's it's okay to lose on
It
a
is
coffee mug.
okay to lose.
Me
dude.
sitting in a meeting with a client with a cup that says it's okay to lose. That's
Can
oh
we
my god.
trust her?
That's so good. What about like dying is cool,
Dude,
comma,
I was
actually.
literally about to say that is the #1 cup you do not want to have when you are running a funeral home, dude.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I run a financial institution and my cup says it's okay to lose.
If you are a stockbroker, do not buy that merch, dude. Don't get it. Don't do it.
I'm gonna get a shirt that says #1 loser on it. No, I'm not. Listen, when it comes to losing, I'm the best at losing there is.
You know
I'm not
what's
gonna get
crazy?
last. I'm gonna cook.
I
but I'm
want
gonna
to
be
go
the best
ahead and
loser that ever
actually
lost.
shout out Scrub Quotes real quick, who actually has a Teespring that has a shirt that says 0-2, but it was close. And I also want to go ahead and shout out Shinobi, who runs Climax of the Night, which is a Melty Blood exclusive offline tournament that has actually been discontinued. But his team will actually be responsible, I believe, for Melty Blood at EVO. They announced a new Teespring where you can actually go ahead and support them so that hopefully they can come back in an online capacity or something along those lines. I'm gonna go ahead and edit in some footage of that, so definitely check out their Teespring. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to this episode of FGC Cast, and as always, gamers, we will see you offline.
That's right. See you offline. It's okay to lose.
We really do need a cup with that.
Yeah.